Attention renters! Are you tired of getting hit with unexpected fees when searching for your next apartment? Well, you're not alone. Many renters overlook one of the biggest expenses in the application process, rental fees. But fear not, in this video, we'll be breaking down everything you need to know about rental application fees, including what they are, how much they can legally cost you, and how to avoid getting ripped off by landlords. Stay tuned to learn how to save money on your next apartment hunt. So, what are rental application fees? Rental application fees are any fee that is associated with applying for an apartment or rental unit. Usually the screening process, including a credit report from the prospective tenant, costs money. To cover these costs, landlords turn to application fees to cover things like credit reports, background checks, and an eviction report. Depending on the number of reports that need to be pulled, the landlord can charge an application fee anywhere from $20 to $60. The average rental application fee is $25, but this can vary greatly. This may not seem like a lot for a renter to pay if they are interested in a rental property, but if they are applying to multiple properties, they may have to pay a lot more than that. These prices especially go up if the renters are searching in cities that have a larger or more competitive rental market. The other problem is that a renter can also face a collection of hidden fees when moving into an apartment. Some of these fees include parking fees, move-in fees, renter's insurance fees, pet fees, and more. All of these can be upwards of $100 by themselves, and when put together, can amount to a lot of money. Now that we know about what rental application fees are, let's go over some of the things that landlords should and shouldn't do when it comes to charging rental application fees. When it comes to charging an application fee, it can be difficult to get it right the first time. To help with that, we're going to lay out some of the most important do's and don'ts for charging your prospective tenants. Number 1, do be transparent and upfront. The most important part of charging rental fees is for the tenant to know exactly what they are paying. By explaining to the tenant that they will be charged an application fee or any other fee, they can plan out their expenses and efficiently pay. However, if no mention is made of these fees, the tenant can dispute the charges. And the worst thing for property managers is to start off on the wrong foot with their tenants. For this reason, property managers should clearly explain any application fee with the exact fee amount and any other fees, like security deposits or screening service cost. It is especially important to take this step when it is a non-refundable application fee. So, to prevent any arguments or disputes, it is always a good idea to let your tenants know about anything they will be paying. Number 2, do run tenant screening reports. Although this means more fees, it's always a good idea for landlords and property managers to run tenant screening reports. The screening process is the best way to guarantee that the tenant is reliable and that they do not have a risky renting history. Screening reports also reveal whether the tenant has had an eviction history or not. This is important because landlords typically would not want a tenant that has had multiple evictions in the past. Number 3, do offer refundable application fees. If the landlord rejects an application before running any sort of credit history report or background check, it's always a good idea to refund the application fee. Returning the application fee is a courtesy if the landlord did not actually use it and can save the landlord from potential problems with tenants. On the same note, landlords should never accept application fees from tenants that they're not seriously considering. Now, here's some things you should not do. Number 1, do not use fees as a source of income. One of the worst business practices is using fees as a source of income. Not only is this a shady business practice, but it can also be against the law. This brings us to our next don't for rental application fees. Number 2, don't charge fees without first checking the laws. Depending on where you live, there could be laws that limit the amount of fees that can be charged by landlords. Some states limit or prohibit rental application fees and are specific about a landlord's obligation when collecting these types of fees. On that note, let's go over some of the different laws that exist in the United States. Many states have laws that limit or prohibit rental application fees. However, many states also have laws that have no limits or just some regulations. Here are some of the most common laws surrounding rental application fees in the United States. No statute. No statute means that there are no laws in the state statute regarding rental application fees. The only state that has no regulations whatsoever on these fees is Alabama. No limits. Other states have no limits on the fees that they can charge their tenants. This means that the landlord in these states can charge any fee that they please. There is also no regulation as to whether the fee is refundable or not. The states that have unregulated fees include Arizona, Connecticut, Idaho, Florida, and Colorado. One quick note is that some Colorado cities actually have laws that are stricter than state law. This means that the landlord must check with the city and local laws before charging the fees. No fees allowed. Surprisingly, there are a few states that do not allow rental application fees to be charged. The two states that do not allow any type of application fees are Vermont and Massachusetts. However, many other states are fighting to change their laws to prohibit application fees. No limits and non-refundable. Now, most states have no limits on application fees, but also state that the fees are non-refundable. This means that the landlord can charge as much as they please and not be obligated to refund the tenant. A comprehensive list of these states can be found on our DoorLoop blog linked below. Limited fees. Lastly, there are the few states that have specific laws regarding rental application fee limits. These few states include Alaska, California, Delaware, Minnesota, New York, Virginia, Washington, and Wyoming. Let's go over some commonly asked questions regarding application fees to clear up any confusion you may have. Should tenants pay an application fee to view the property? Typically, landlords will choose to not charge any application fee for potential tenants to view the property. The tenant should be able to choose between a self-guided tour, a virtual tour, or a tour guided by the landlord. For landlords allowing the tenants to do self-guided tours, they will often ask for a picture of their driver's license or their credit card information. Also, it is important to take any other safety precautions when doing tours, like maintaining proper distance or wearing masks. Should every tenant pay an application fee? The answer to this question is that every tenant above the age of 18 should pay an application fee. This is because the landlord will need to perform the screening process for each and every one, not just the main tenant. Better put, the application fees are not per unit but per leasee. And that's a wrap on our comprehensive guide to rental application fees. We hope you found this video helpful and informative as you navigate the apartment hunting process. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding your rights as a renter can save you hundreds of dollars in fees. So make sure to do your research, ask the right questions, and don't be afraid to negotiate with landlords to get the best deal possible. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful tips and tricks from DoorLoop. Bye!